I don't know what that's all about, but that's a little bit of a pay-on to gimmicky YouTube making. Back in the 1920s, there was a dance called the Shimmy, and that was something that they were doing to go out to the club and to get their girls, and then lead to more evening activities. Why in the world this product was called Shimmy, I don't know. Is it going to help me make coffee that's so much better that when I give it to my girlfriend, I'm gonna get a little evening action? Well, let's find out. So for today, we've got the Fellow Shimmy. And first of all, let's do some disclosures. I did not pay for this. Fellow did not send this to me. Actually, Fellow has no idea who I am or that I even have this product. This was actually given to me by my friend Gautam Kambargeri, who owns Brewing Gadgets in Dubai. I happened to be in Dubai last December, stopped by his shop, and he was like, hey man, try this out. All right, I'll give it a try. No one has any say in the video or what I have to think about it or anything like that. Well, first of all, what is this? The Shimmy is a coffee sieve that has a 200 micron 304 stainless filter that is supposed to remove the fines from your coffee. And these really micro fines are the kind of thing that will give over extraction and lead to some bitterness in your cup. It's supposed to clean that up, especially if you're using, I guess, a less than quality grinder. That's really the idea for it. And it costs 60 bucks. It says, shake it till you make it. Shake. All right, so we've got, it comes in its packaging. I haven't opened this. I'm shooting this in May. So it's been sitting in my stack of goodies for the last, 5 months or so. All right, we got a little booklet here. Kind of nice. Look at that. Kind of nice, huh? With some safety and use guide. What does it say here? Top rack dishwasher. So only a part of it can be used in the dishwasher. The rest you have to hand wash. Oh, there's a brewing manual. Hi, you can call me Shimmy, but my friends call me We're Leaving Without You. For those who may not be familiar, Fellow is this company that makes all kinds of coffee products that are really, I guess, super cute and super nicely done. I think I don't know. I really don't own anything by Fellow except this now. I was able to try the Fellow Stagg kettle, but I found it rather infuriating to use because I happened to be using it in a cupping session. I was trying to pour, and fill this cupping cup with water, and the reduced aperture jiggler inside the Stagg, which controls your water flow for you, just infuriates me. I hate that. I'm a barista. I'm a craftsman. I can control my own water flow. Anyway, let's get into it here. We've got our little Shimmy that's in a wrapper. Oh, it's got this little protective to plastic to protect the clear plastic, which is nice. It feels good. Don't do that at home, children. So there's a lid. I guess this bottom, the bottom does come off. Okay, so the bottom comes off, and then the lid will come off. And there's also a little dispensing spout here. So you shake, shake, shake. All right, let's open up first. Let's get there. So there's rough silicone gaskets on the cap and bottom. 304 stainless, 200 micron filter. Really nicely done, actually. Polished stainless and nice. So basically what you do is you put this in, you add your coffee, you shake, shake, shake. All of it falls through and around the filter. But okay, seems easy enough, seems cool enough. Why not we get into it? The idea is that you're going to use this with a cheap grinder. I guess that's where it really gives you the most benefit, is by getting a cheap grinder that has very inconsistent grinds. Although, I don't know if that really works out. If you have a grinder that gives you a lot of inconsistent grinds, a lot of grind variation, sure, you're gonna have the fines, but I think you'll have that in any kind of grinder, even a nicer quality grinder. But I've decided to use this old Virtuoso. This is the Baratza Virtuoso. This is an old Virtuoso. I bought this used in 2007. So I've had it, and it's been at my house for many, many years. And then a couple years into it, when Baratza came out with this Isato scale, I got that as well. So we're gonna use this because it's old, and I've never changed the burrs on it. So there should be, theoretically, a lot of problems with this, especially for new wave baristas that are super, super hardcore about, you know, I have already pre-measured 2 sets of 24 grams of coffee. We're going to brew a basic brew ratio of 2 grams per ounce of coffee. 12 ounces, 24 grams total. All right, so let's turn this thing on. And I'm gonna use a medium setting here on the selector. So I'm gonna put this in. Take our coffee and pour it in. We're gonna add the top and shake. It seems pretty secure, so I won't have to, like, you know, part of me wants to worry, like, if I'm shaking something, if it's gonna come free, but I'm gonna do it freehand and let it go. We're gonna turn it around as we, don't do that at home, children. So they say about 30 seconds. I don't know how violent you should get with it or not, but here's the thing for me, just initial thoughts, is I like to use electric grinders because I really despise hand grinders. I don't really enjoy this whole sitting there grinding. I don't find I find no joy in that. So this reminds me of doing the grinding, which means that I'm not enjoying this. Although, as a guy, you should be enjoying things like this. All right, I think that'll be good. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab a scale and we're going to see how much coffee was retained. Tear that. All right, so we can take off the bottom. Oh, not too, there's a little bit there, right? Look at that, there's a little bit. It says 1.3 grams of microfines have been removed from the coffee. Okay, cool. We're gonna keep that on the side here. Now we're gonna grind our second batch, which is an identical amount of coffee. So today's coffee is the House Nation from Spro Coffee. It's a really great coffee for drinking most time of the year and one that I really like. And I kind of designed it to be very approachable, but not too crazy. Like, it tastes like coffee. It doesn't taste like too much craziness, right? So really great all-around coffee for you to enjoy at home. So give it a try at sprocoffee.com. Here is our coffee, and we're going to now brew them head to head. So we're going to use our different mugs. And to facilitate this, we're going to use the V60 from Oreo. I've got 2 of them here, twins, so that you can see them all working together. And we're also using the Oreo paper filters. So hopefully we can get to see how much of an impact this sifting really has on it. So, you know, one of the things to consider is that we do have 1.3 grams of coffee that have been removed. That's gonna have an impact. You could compensate for that. We're not gonna do that in this case. So the ratios will be slightly off. So if we have, you know, 24, we're gonna have 22.7. So if you have any questions about the shimmy, be sure to put them in the comments down below. Happy to hear them. So you're supposed to use the spout, right? So let's use the spout. We're gonna put it in this mug. Okay, and we're gonna use this one here. Level the coffees out. Now I heard somewhere along the way that some people in them, after they've done their brewing and they've added all their water, they like to put the fines back. Why you do that, I'm not really understanding, because you got them out because the theory is that it's adding bitterness to your brew. Why would you put it back? Just because you don't want to have the ratios off? I don't understand that. We're not really going to worry too much about that. We're just going to brew it our way. All right, we're going to start it. We're just going to add a little bit of water to wet the grinds. So we've got the blooming happening. Good sign that it's nice and fresh. Okay, 30 seconds into it. Now we're gonna break it down with the stream. I'm a believer in utilizing the water to saturate the coffee. I'm more concerned about contact time rather than particular patterns that you see a lot of other baristas talking and touting. But this brew is going pretty fast. At least it feels fast. If you're just joining us, remember the Shimmy's on the right and the regular is on the left, the non-sieved coffee. I think we're doing okay now. All right, I believe that's enough. So 330. Well, there's a little bit of difference here, so let's balance them out a little bit more. All right, so just under 4 minutes for this to finish. And they look visually very similar. There's not much difference. And aromatic-wise, not much of a difference either. Okay, so let's have a taste. We're going to use the non-sieved as our control. Nice, robust, a lot of cacao notes, deep cacao, a little bit of bitterness coming through, and a nice nuttiness on the finish. There is definitely a little bit of a difference. So like, for example, in the control, the non-sieve, there's a bit of bitterness on the end of the flavor, right? On the finish, it's a little more bitter, where this one doesn't have that same bitterness. There's still a little bit of that there, but it's actually a cleaner finish, maybe a slightly cleaner cup. As the coffee's starting to cool more, it's definitely starting to become more apparent that this one has a little more bitterness than this one does. Ostensibly, it's because, you know, we've got this fines that had been removed. Now, some of the differences in brewing the two cups, this one did brew a little bit faster, so you would think that there would be less extraction to pull the bitterness out of the coffee. But that bitterness is still apparent, even though it was a little bit faster. This one, you would think that because it was slower, it would probably have a little bit more. So they should balance. But now I would say that there is a difference. I mean, you know, to be honest with you, I was very skeptical at the outset of this. When Gautam was telling me, hey man, why don't you try this? I was pretty skeptical, like more coffee gadgets sitting around that will collect dust and do nothing. But you can tell the difference. The Shimmy is $60 retail. Is this worth 60 bucks? What is pleasure worth to you? I am inclined to be very much a skeptic. There's really a part of me that would like to tell you absolutely not, it's not worth it, it's a complete waste of money. But there is a discernible difference between the two cups. And the one that is sieved is, to my palate, appreciably different, appreciably more enjoyable. It's sweeter because these fines have been removed, I presume. Now this is a really robust medium roast City Plus coffee that is supposed to be nice cacao with bitter tones and nuttiness on the finish with some fruity tones in between. That's the blend that we're using. A real kind of approachable coffee for most people. And there is that apparent difference between the two. Now, where it may become much more apparent is in sweeter coffees or coffees that are more delicate. So for example, if you're the kind of person that wants to have very bright, lightly roasted, delicate floral Ethiopians and Panamanian coffees like the geisha and stuff like that, then this might very well improve that sweetness and delicateness even more. So while I would like to just dismiss this completely out of hand and just be like, this is not worth it, I really can't. I really can't. I am surprised, a little bit shocked, that it actually does something. It actually makes an impact. It makes a difference. It does improve the pleasurability of the cup. So it turns out that shaking the Shimmy does improve your pleasure.